Good morning, everybody. This is Damon Bond of Bond Realty Group, licensed real estate broker in the states of Connecticut and New York. I hope everybody's doing well. It is December 6th, 2017. A couple weeks until the Christmas holiday. If you ever have a question, please email me at dbond011@gmail.com. That's dbond011@gmail.com. Or you always give me a call, 203-394-8123. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's kind of mild up here in the tri-state area of Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. All right, so today I want to talk about investment properties. I've been having a lot of people ask me some questions about investing, how to go about doing that in terms of real estate. And I guess I'll break it down like this. Now, it depends what you want to invest in. If you want less headaches, well, let me amend that statement. I do apologize. It's more cumbersome in terms of finances to invest in a commercial property that's more than 4 units. So basically, here's the way it works, right? Anything above 4 residential units or higher, so that means 5+ residential units. If it's an apartment building, it's considered to be commercial property. So whether that property has a storefront, which we typically call mixed use. So you have like maybe 1 or 2 storefronts and a couple apartments, that's mixed use. A 5-unit multifamily unit is commercial, right? 6-unit apartment is commercial. So anything is commercial in that regards. Anything that's 4 families or less, you're going to get residential. That's considered to be residential. Even as an investment property, that's residential. So that's the first difference between the two. Now, the thing is this, if you want to buy a building, which is good, you have 5 units, 6 units, that's fine. But just be aware that you're going to have to get a commercial loan, and it's commercial real estate, which is a whole different ball game. So commercial loans, they have their own set of lending criteria. That's something you want to talk about with a mortgage person with regards to that. If you get a 4-family, 3-family, 2-family, or duplex or anything like that, that is considered to be residential lending. And residential lending pretty much is a follow, thing, credit score, have your stuff in or whatnot. You may pay a higher interest because it is, an investment property. You won't be living there, won't be owner occupied. That's something different. And that's just the usual process of, obtaining a mortgage and so forth. So there are different categories of, investment properties, if you will. The first thing is this. People ask, well, should I buy a condo, and rent it out? Should I buy, a single family rental out? You could do that, but you're thinking about your profitability margin. This is why a lot of people choose not to rent out condos because, first of all, some boards are more restrictive than others in terms of renting it out. Others are very, generous with it. So check with your condo board. Another thing to consider is single family house. Some people do that. Personally, my take on that personally, this is just personal, is the fact that it may not be worth the cost to rent it out unless you got to really treat that out a little bit different. But typically people will rent out, let's say a condo, rent it out if it's a good price. They can make a margin profit off of it as opposed to a single family house. Now, most of us, when we think of investment properties, we're thinking of 2-family or duplexes and more, 2, 3, 4 family properties. That's fine. So if you're going to do that, just be aware that, there's certain things you want to take into consideration, such as utilities. A lot of 2-family houses have like an attic to them. And what some people do is they rent them out as 3-family. That's actually illegal under the law, both in Connecticut and New Jersey. I was most places across the country, but I'm just focusing specifically on Connecticut and New York. In order for an apartment to be legal apartment, there has to be 2 forms of egresses. That means, in other words, that there has to be a front entrance and a back entrance. So what happens is a lot of these houses, 2-family houses where there's like a 3rd floor walk-up apartment to it. Usually they're nice, they're pretty and everything like this. But the fact is they don't have their own separate entrance. They don't have an entrance from the back. In other words, the entrance comes from, there's a shared entrance, if you will. The entrance comes from the 2nd floor apartment. So it has to be a separate 3rd floor entity and not just from the 2nd floor. That's what it is. Also, you want to make sure that the utilities are separate. Ideally, if it's a 4-family house, you want to have 4 different utilities. You want to have 4 electrical boxes, for furnaces, gas furnace, if it's a furnace, for, whatever it may be, for water heaters. You get the idea. Same thing with 3 family, 3 gas furnaces, 3 electrical panels, 3 water heaters, 2 families, so forth and so on. So these are some things you want to have, all right? Another thing you want to consider is this. If you want to decide to buy an REO property, right? REO Properties, remember, stands for real estate owned property. Something you may want to consider is you may want to, there's different types of REO properties. We have REOs that are sold by Fannie Mae, is one, government agency. You have REO properties that's sold by HUD directly. That stands for the Housing and Urban Development. And then you have REO properties sold by the banks, all right? So you have 3 different types of REO properties, and then there's some other nuances there as well. So let me tell you something how it works. When you do an REO property, investment property with the banks, first of all, usually there's a time period you have to wait if you're an investor to purchase that REO property. What they like to do is they like to give a chance to, owner occupants, people who are going to buy the property and they're going to live in the property. So usually they give them like a week or 2 window opportunity to get those bids out the way. If they haven't received any offers or any offers that are acceptable to them, meaning, to HUD, then what happens is they'll let other people bid on it as well. These are the people who are, investors, usually with deep pockets. They'll open up to them. Now, if you decide to go with a HUD property, the agent you're working with has to be an HUD agent. They have to be registered with HUD. I am registered with HUD. I'm a HUD agent, so I can sell HUD homes. And the reason for this is because the agent for you on your behalf is going to do everything online. It's not like the paper contract. Typically, you see a property, you put an offer on it, you do the contract, you sign your name and so forth. It doesn't work that way when you're putting an offer for a HUD property. The way HUD Properties works is done online. Usually that agent has 15 minutes to submit that bid in. After 15 minutes, has to start all over again. So be sure you have your, excuse the cliche, all your ducks lined up in a row. So that means, how much you're putting down, any closing costs you want to have or anything like that, the price you want to put on. And then once that happens, the HUD will get it automatically, and then they'll let you know if there's another offer that was accepted or not. And sometimes if offer was accepted, they'll have your offer as a backup offer. That is HUD. Okay, that's the HUD property. There's no human decision in this usually. It's what it is what it is. So this is totally done, by computer. So there's very, human interaction involved in the decision-making process. That's what HUD Properties. With Fannie Mae is, is similar. Sometimes you have to do an online thing with Fannie Mae. It's similar HUD, but you don't need a Fannie Mae registered agent. I'm also registered with Fannie Mae, but it's not necessary. Any licensed real estate person, salesperson, can put an offer in on your behalf if you're a buyer. So that's also something you want to consider as well in terms with regards to that. Something you want to, you look into. And then, of course, you have properties by the bank, whether it's Chase or, People's Bank up here in Connecticut or, Bank of America, whatever it is. That's sold by them. So there's different types. And I'm probably missing some things. It's okay, but I just wanted to give you the big, the big ones, if you will. Now, one note about REO property, I say this time and time again to people. You got to be careful because here's the thing. Most bank-owned properties, if you buy investment properties, right, a lot of them are pretty worn. And when I say pretty worn, is particularly, the multifamily properties. Sometimes you have copper pipes missing. Unfortunately, people break into the house and they know it's vacant and they'll sell the copper pipes. Usually the mechanics are not working. Usually the floors are tore up, the ceilings tore up. Not all cases, but this is not uncommon. So if the property is in disrepair, you're going to have a difficult time getting conventional financing for that. You have to get what's called a rehab loan. If you're doing a loan, if you're getting a mortgage for it. So they're not going to take it. And the reason why is because the property is in such disrepair is not going to qualify for financing. A lot of times banks in many cases like cash, HUD likes cash in many cases. Cash is king, because there's no appraisal involved. There's no type of, paperwork with a mortgage involved. So basically you get what you get. And that's why cash usually is king. So just be very careful with those HUD properties, all right? And Fannie Mae and other properties. So these are some things to consider. Another thing you may want to be aware of is also just to make sure you know what you're getting yourselves into if you tend to buy one of these properties. Because here's the thing, unlike regular residential properties, where, you know, you're getting a home inspection, you get a termite and everything like that. In many cases, that's not the case for these, you know, bank-owned properties you're going to use for investment. In many cases, they will allow an inspection. However, the inspection is just for informational purposes only. So if you find out that the foundation is messed up, or the plumbing is out of whack, or the furnace is not working, that's fine and all, but that's not going to, you know, change the end result from the sales contract. That's just for you to know, say, okay, I need a new foundation, I need a new roof, I need a new furnace, I need a new, you know, I need new plumbing, whatever it may be. In some cases, they'll tell you can't even do an inspection, you know, because it's taken as it is. So that's something you want to consider for investment properties as well, if you're going to, you know, go that route. So I know it was a lot. These are some things you may want to consider. Hope this information was useful. If you have any questions, you can always email me at dbond011@gmail.com. That's D, my first name, Damon, D, Bond, B-O-N-D, 011@gmail.com. You can always give me a call. Once again, if you leave me a voicemail, I will return your call. Just tell me why you're calling so I'll know. 203-394-8123. That's 203-394-8123. Be well, stay safe, and have a wonderful day.